What's up, Vegas? Bitcoin? Let's go. So to kick us off, we have a dog joining us.
Hello.
It just feels right
Hi,
to address
baby
this first.
dog.
Baby
Hello.
dog is internationally renowned, already famous on Twitter. Senator Justice, tell us how she got her name.
Oh gosh. I was wondering if she was just going to walk around and say hi to everybody here. If I could tell you this real quick, but on Christmas Eve, a few years back, she's 5 years old now, all of a sudden, right over my shoulder, my son and daughter reached this little 10-week-old bulldog puppy. Well, I had no idea that she was going to turn into what she's turned into, but literally we had our first grandbaby at the time. He was 2 years old. December 7th was his birthday. He knew some words and he could talk, but he surely didn't know what the word puppy was. Well, she's down in the presents going around everywhere. He's down in the presents going around everywhere. And all of a sudden he turned around out of nowhere and said, "Where'd that baby dog go?" So we named her Baby Dog. And it always seems just fitting and everything that I knew she was going to grow into this. She's grown into a 60-pound brown watermelon, and she's my buddy, and she loves all y'all. And she loves Bitcoin. Thanks for being here.
We're excited to have her on stage with us. So now on to the topic at hand, the Bitcoin Act. I'm joined by three of the most pro-innovation, pro-Bitcoin members of Congress today. And Senator Lummis spearheaded a bill to create the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve.
Thank you. Thank you.
And they all recognize that what Bitcoin means to all of us and the nation at large. So, Senator Lummis, I thought we would start with you and talk about, have you had conversations with the president? What is it going to take to get this signed into law?
It's great to be back at Bitcoin 2025. Thank you all for your help in the last year, bringing the Bitcoin Act to the attention of the American people and the world. President Trump supports the bill, and he has a team in the White House working on digital asset issues, everything from stablecoin to market structure to the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. And they will probably roll out in that order. The Senate Banking Committee has passed the stablecoin bill out of committee. We're getting close to being ready to have it on the floor. We've worked for untold hours with the minority party to satisfy them, and we should be voting on it the week we get back from this break. Then we'll do market structure, and then we'll do the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve. And at that time, we'll be calling on you to help members of Congress in your states understand the importance. It's so important strategically to our country. Other countries are moving in the direction of establishing strategic Bitcoin reserves. The United States needs to lead in this area.
I agree. Our nation is $36 trillion in debt. How can this strategic Bitcoin reserve help right this ship? Senator Blackburn and then Senator Justice.
Yes, Lauren, and thank you so much for being here with us today, and thank you to all of you for being here and for the support that you have given us over the past year. Some of us have talked this morning about how we think that the Bitcoin conference in Nashville, in my home state of Tennessee, was really kind of a turning point for bringing things forward and pushing forward on things like Cynthia's bill for the Strategic Reserve, and that is where she introduced that bill at the conference in Nashville, and we're all supporting her efforts. And the reason this is important is that a Bitcoin reserve will provide an alternative and some stability that you don't get from government bonds or from a fiat currency or from gold. And it is important that we have that option. I think also, Lauren, as we look at this, knowing that our allies watch what we do, that it is important for us to take these apprehended assets that we have, the Bitcoin that government already owns, and use that as our nest egg and continue to buy and feed into that.
I agree. Senator Justice?
Well, first of all, let me just tell you this. I'm a business guy. I'm not a politician. I'm the new kid on the block. I came to the Senate with white hair and am not looking to be the chairman of committees or whatever it may be. I'm the most impatient guy in town. And absolutely with all in me, I know exactly what the key to Emerald City is. You're not afraid. There's too many people afraid. But Bitcoin represents protection. It represents strategic. It represents pragmatic. It represents growth. We're $37 trillion in debt today. $37 trillion. You hold the key to Emerald City right now. And what we've got to do is some way, somehow, bridge that key and make it become a reality. You hold so much power. Absolutely, we need every single last one of you. But today's our day. We can do it today. Thank you so much.
This week, we'll hear about institutions adopting Bitcoin. We've already seen countries start to adopt it, like El Salvador. How important is it for the U.S. to lead, Senator Lummis?
When China forbade mining of Bitcoin, they did the United States a big favor because a lot of those mining operations came here. President Trump has declared his stand for making Bitcoin mining and America conjoined. And so that's a good area to start. But having a strategic reserve is the ultimate way of having geopolitical advantage. I've talked to generals in our military who understand that economic power is as important as military power in addressing aggressors around the world. And there are generals in our military right now who are big supporters of having a strategic Bitcoin reserve for that reason. Then we have states, which have always been the incubators of innovation. Senator Justice was the governor of West Virginia. Senator Blackburn's going to be the next governor of Tennessee. The states are where the innovation is occurring. So you have Arizona, Texas, and New Hampshire that passed strategic Bitcoin reserve bills this year. You had 30 states consider strategic Bitcoin reserves. We have the United Arab Emirates purchasing Bitcoin through American exchange-traded funds. That's good for America because they're going to build their sovereign wealth in Bitcoin through an American ETF. We have the Czech Republic investigating through its central bank, adding Bitcoin to its diversified asset allocation. So it's happening all over the world. The United States often has led through the states. It's leading again through the states. But it's important that our government include among its strategic assets Bitcoin as digital gold. We have about 5% of the world's gold in the United States in reserve. We need to have at least 5% of the world's Bitcoin in reserve.
Yes.
Absolutely. To complement our strategy with other strategic reserves, Senator Blackburn, how do you look at Bitcoin alongside the other reserves that we have in this country?
Well, and we should do that. And that's why getting this strategic reserve fund in place is so vitally important. You know, one of the things that happens is that many of our allies follow what we do. So there, and if you want to get a good in the moment snapshot of this, watch what is happening with the tariff and trade negotiations. Everybody wants to be a part of our market. They want to be a part of our trade, and they will follow what we do. And as Senator Lummis said, we already see countries that are establishing these reserves. So it is vitally important that we hold this as a portion of our reserves. Now, Senator Justice mentioned the nation's debt, and knowing that we can continue to buy, the supply is limited, you've got 21 million coins, knowing that we can use this as a store of value, and knowing that we can hedge against that debt as we begin to work to pay down that debt so that we remain a solvent nation. This is one of the instruments that we have. You know, we talk a lot about using all the tools in the toolbox. This is a tool that we can add to that toolbox, and we should do that. Another thing, Lauren, that I think we should do to show the importance of Bitcoin is to have those ETFs available to federal employees on our federal retirement options.
That's a very good
And the message that would send of the recognition of this. And President Trump has been absolutely stellar in creating the environment and providing the support that is necessary for us as legislators to move forward confidently in this space.
That's such a great point, and adoption continues to grow. Look at this conference. Every year it keeps getting bigger, and I think that trend will continue. Senator Justice, how do we bridge the gap so that adoption continues, and how can we meet communities who haven't been as fanatical following as this group here?
Well, I'd like you to really pay close attention to me just for a second. First of all, I've had the opportunity to be the governor of West Virginia for 8 years, and now I'm in the U.S. Senate. Honor beyond belief. But with all that being said, when I walked in the door as the governor of West Virginia, it was as upside down could possibly be. Maybe in a lot of ways similar to where we are in America today. Now, the whole thing, as I see this entire situation, is just one thing and one thing alone. You know, Senator Lummis just said, we've got to get the economics right. Many people ask me many times as governor, what's the most important thing you do? And I'll promise you this, it's all about the economics. Because when you have the economics right, you can do all kinds of things for all kinds of people. And if you have the economics screwed up, you can't do anything for anybody. This absolutely makes everything happen from the economic standpoint. It absolutely does all the other stuff, but when it really boils right down to it, what do we really do here? We make real headway in the national debt. We make real headway in people's lives. But here's the problem. Toby and Edith don't get it yet. And you may wonder, well, who are Toby and Edith? Toby and Edith are the voters. Now, with that, just stay with me just one more second. Here's the deal. If we get to a time, and let's hope and pray we get there, to where Toby and Edith are using Bitcoin at Walmart. And absolutely, as they use Bitcoin, they're saving themselves all kinds of money.
Yeah.
They're not only doing that, they're contributing to all kinds of goodness, and it's happening all over the place. How do we make all that happen? Because they don't understand. It becomes a marketing problem. It becomes an understanding problem. But let me just tell you just this. When Toby and Edith get it, then everything starts happening at light speed for all of us. all the legislation, everything in every way starts really happening like light speed. And why? And here's the whole why. Toby and Edith vote. All the politicians want to get reelected. Toby and Edith control the absolute control. So with all that being said, we got to do one thing. We got to make sure wherever we go, we bring Toby and Edith with us. If we bring Toby and Edith with us, all kinds of goodness will happen.
Definitely all eyes on DC these days, so I agree with that. Implementing this is really important, and I know, Senator Lummis, you've thought a lot about that. How does the reserve become implemented in a way that's responsible?
When you're 37 trillion in debt, you don't want to borrow more money to buy Bitcoin. You want to use assets that are underperforming and convert them to Bitcoin. So the Bitcoin Act would have us first use the money that, as Senator Blackburn mentioned, is in the asset forfeiture accounts to be the basis for the first year's purchase of Bitcoin. We think we have about 200,000 Bitcoin in asset forfeitures. We're still trying to find out what the exact number is. Now it's been classified, so the three of us are going to have to go to a classified briefing to understand why they classified the asset forfeiture funds in
That's
Bitcoin.
right.
That said, then in years 2 through 5, we can buy 200,000 Bitcoin by converting what we have in what's called gold certificates. Now, they're held by the United States at their 1974 value, which is somewhere, I don't know, between $36 and $45 each. Now, each of those could be brought up to current fair market value for gold, which is over $3,000 now, and then use it to buy Bitcoin. And honestly, we have enough assets in underperforming assets that we can get 5% of the world's Bitcoin without borrowing a single dime.
So everybody buy Bitcoin now. Each of you spend a ton of time in DC, and then you go home to your home districts. I would love to hear the questions that you get about your support of Bitcoin, your support of innovation as you travel back home. Maybe Senator Blackburn, you could start us off.
Yes, and Lauren, as I mentioned, Nashville is a very entrepreneurial town. And of course, we have Bitcoin Park in Nashville. And all across our wonderful state, whether it's the West, the Middle, or the East, we have Bitcoin mining operations that are choosing to locate there in Tennessee. We have a wonderful, reliable energy source. We are a leader in working toward nuclear power with the work that the TVA is doing and with SMRs. So people in Tennessee are beginning to pay attention to this. I will also add, Chattanooga, Tennessee is developing a commercialized quantum network. And so you've got companies that are locating there. In Tennessee, people like the idea that you have Bitcoin coming into the state, that there are mining operations coming into the state. They look at this as high-paying jobs. They look at this as jobs of the future, and are, as you see companies like Oracle, like Amazon, like the XAI that is in Memphis, and as they choose Tennessee to be their home, people say, this is what is going to give us jobs for our kids and our grandkids, and they want to see it there. So they're making room for these companies and putting the pressure on TVA to make certain they can supply all the power that is going to be needed.
I love to hear that. Senator Justice, how about West Virginia?
Well, West Virginia has surely got a ways to go, like a lot of states. We've got to get the understanding correct without any question, but I want to deviate just 1 second, because one thing that is enormously important, and it's just this, I have the privilege of being on the Small Business Committee and the Ag Committee and the Energy Committee. Honestly, if we don't watch, we're going to just spin around a couple of times, and a year and a half from today, we're going to have an energy crisis in this country like you can't imagine. And we got to get moving. We got to get moving right now. Yep. You can't imagine what a hold that you have and what a player that you are in all the energy sector that is coming at us, and we need you. We need you so badly, it's off the chart. Now, West Virginia is an energy state. And we got a lot of really smart people there that have done an awful lot with energy forevermore. So we understand energy. Like Bo Jackson said, Bo knows. Well, West Virginia knows energy. And they know of the crisis that is absolutely right at our doorstep. And they know of the potential that you have. You see, that's why I go back to just this. All of us together, we're from 3 different states. We're from 3 different areas of the globe, but yet we absolutely all get it. We all in this room get it. And absolutely now what we've got to do is make sure those out there get it. Because when they get it, then all the politicians and everybody will move at light speed, like I've already said. We've got a ways to go, but we can get there, and we can get there now. But we got to really pull the rope together, and we got to pull it right this minute. The last thing I'd tell you is just this. I had a fellow a long time ago and everything. He used to look at me and say, any frog that's not proud of their own pond isn't much of a frog. So we got to be super proud right now. So let's get with it.
And Senator Lummis, in the last few minutes we have, would love to hear about Wyoming, and then also what everyone here can do to support this bill as well.
Thank you. Wyoming exports 12 times more energy than it consumes. So like Senator Justice, we know how to produce energy. We have Bitcoin mining equipment pulled up right next to oil and gas wells that have not yet been connected to pipelines. They are mining while that methane's being vented and using the vented methane, so we're getting an environmental win-win. And there are other examples of where Bitcoin mining is being used around the country to take advantage of energy and baseload balancing, like they're doing in Texas. When you have stable baseload, it works better. And so in Texas, they'll ramp down during the day when activities that are not mining Bitcoin related are occurring, and ramp up at night when the converse is true, balancing that base load. Bitcoin's an advantage to this country in terms of energy consumption, energy adaptability, and is helping pave the way to artificial intelligence. We know that the one impediment for America being dominant in the artificial intelligence race is in our need for energy. And Bitcoin is helping transition us into a much more efficient energy-consuming nation as we move into the artificial intelligence age.
If I can add on that, Cynthia, she makes such an important point there. And one of the things we're doing in Tennessee is engaging the hyperscalers when we look at small modular reactors, and then finding ways to balance this baseload and increase that baseload supply of energy, but beginning to engage our miners and our hyperscalers as we look forward to a nuclear power generation and an SMR utilization.
So we're going to sort of in conclusion about how we get this done, there's a reason the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve is coming after stablecoins and market structure. And it's because there's too many members of the Congress who don't understand why we need a Bitcoin reserve.
Yes.
That's where you come in.
Yes.
What we've been doing since this bill was filed last September for people to look at and start talking about is to try to find out who understands it and who can help us get it passed. Alaska Representative Begich is going to carry it in the House. We're involved in carrying it in the Senate. But I'm telling you, it's going to be a heavier lift than I thought because so many people don't understand the use case for Bitcoin or the strategic importance of Bitcoin. Help us teach them. Talk to your senator. Write an article. Do a blog. Get on social media. Get where you can help address the issue with them. We know why we need one. We need the United States Senate and the U.S. House of Representatives to know why we need one. And once there's a greater mass of members of Congress who understand it, the president is going to step in and lead this effort.
Well, I just want to thank you all for your leadership on this issue.
And let me just say one thing. Thanks to these beautiful, unbelievably intelligent ladies and everything. God bless you for letting me be a part. Thank y'all.